Alright, we are doing all sorts of stuff now, so. Yeah, I look exhausted. I didn't sleep very well. I got like Saturday night or no, Friday night? Friday into Saturday. There we go. Slept fantastic. Slept best I've slept in probably like 3 months. Last night, woke up every like hour and a half just because it was so goddamn hot in my room.
Of course.
So now I'm just like, oh, just like dragging ass, just trying to get things going. I'm just like, God damn it! Like we just did this yesterday. Oh, I had so much energy yesterday.
I was technically available. So.
Oh man! All right, we ready to start this?
Yes.
I forgot to get coffee too. This is an awful start. Everything else is done except for me. All right. On this episode of This is Game Boy, first we must observe the ancient ritual of the traditional pre-fight donut. 20 points if you can guess or know who said that in Turtles 2. It will surprise you even. It wasn't Michelangelo. Which you would
I
think
do
it
not
would be.
remember.
No, it was Leonardo.
Wow.
I don't remember the scene. I just found the quote online.
Okay. Yeah, no idea. It's been too long.
I haven't watched. Already on a tangent. I haven't watched 2 in a long time. I actually watched 1 recently. I found my VHS for 1 in a box over there, and I popped it into the VCR and watched it.
That's great.
Right. Oh, theme song. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-bum. There you go, legs. All right. Hello, everyone. Everyone live watching in the chat. Everyone at home or in their cars, bikes, whatever it may be, bus, listening to the episode. Welcome to another thrilling, action-packed, sneaky ninja episode of This is Game Boy. I'm eBloodyCandy, and with me, as always, is Muelle.
That is I. I am here.
That is you. And before we dive into the Metrodome, Mo, what have you been up to?
Well, it's been a while since we recorded one of these.
Yes.
So I do have quite a few games that I played, not all beaten. So I'm gonna start with what I've been playing on PS4. Nickelodeon All Star Brawl was for free with PS Plus last month, I believe, which you probably know is a Smash clone with Nickelodeon characters. It works. That that's pretty much it. It works. It's not very exciting. It's not super great. It's better than PlayStation All Star Battle or Royale or whatever that was called for sure. But it's if you want to play a Smash clone, just play Smash because it's the best one. Like there's nothing more you can say about it. So you can check it out if you want to. It takes like 5 hours to get a platinum trophy in that game, and then you can just delete it from your hard drive forever. It's really
You can't play a SpongeBob in Smash Brothers, though.
true, but why would you need to? I
Oh.
mean, there's no reason to. But yeah, it's a serviceable game. But yeah, they clearly did not put that much effort into it after all. But yeah, whatever. And the loading times are just horrendous. But I was also playing on PS4, and that's kind of a given on a PS4.
Especially our PS4s.
Yeah, it's just ridiculously bad. But yeah, that's that game. Then I picked up Dead's Door because it's not Dad's Door. Dad's Door.
Dad's Door.
Dad's Door is a completely different game that you probably should stay away from. But Dad's Door is an isometric brawler, kinda. I don't know if anybody's ever played. What's that game called? Hyper Light Drifter, which is like a fast-paced top-down slasher brawler thingy. It's a really good game. You really have to play it. It's fantastic. You play this little crow that is basically a reaper trying to harvest souls, but some things go wrong, and you have to figure out what is actually going on. It's a pretty long game if you go for the true ending, and with long I mean like 6 to 8 hours because it is an indie game. But it's fantastic. It plays super well. It's challenging when it needs to be, and just very fun to explore in the game to find everything. You do get some items later on that help you find missing things, and then you can go for the true ending, which you can only do after you've defeated the final boss for the first time anyway. So, but that's definitely one you should pick up on whichever console or on PC, if you can manage to grab it, because I can highly recommend that game. And I think it took me like 12 hours maybe to uh, complete it. That's 2 playthroughs, one full playthrough and one where you can only use the joke weapon to finish the game. So very much recommended. I finished the story of Death Stranding. Now I'm just like running around and wrapping things up. Like you have to connect everything to the fullest level and things like that. So it's still just a relaxing game for me. I just play it for like an hour or two. Before I do something else. But do I have any idea what went on in that game? It's Kojima, so no, I have no clue. Maybe in the future when the second one comes out, it will become more clear, but probably it will
Probably
become
not.
even worse. So, but yeah, it doesn't matter if you know what's going on. It's just a very interesting story. Anyways, but yeah, enough about that Stranding. I've been talking about that for the past 3 months or something because I just keep playing it like in short bursts. I also installed Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, so it comes with the Frozen Wilds DLC. That was a game you could get for free with PlayStation, not with PlayStation Plus. I think you just got it for some reason. I don't know. I don't really remember what it was for. And I know a lot of people love this game and think it's a fantastic open world game. For me, sadly, it is one of the most boring games I've ever played in my life. I don't know what it is about that game, but nothing, to me at least, is fun about it.
You love
It's
open world games, so.
yeah, it starts with that problem, right? Like I really do not enjoy open world games. Um, but yeah, it just has nothing to offer at all for me. Like I do not give a single beep about the story. Like all the characters, or besides the main character, are just run of the mill people with stupid issues that you do not care about. I don't like the fighting in the game either, which should be the main thing because you're taking down these huge, quote unquote, dinosaur robots. Yeah, it's just not
Normal,
for me.
everyday people. I don't care about every RPG ever.
Yeah, but it's even worse in this one. And also, the voice acting, even though they are probably big names, they seem to not have put any effort into it. And I wouldn't say they called it in either, but it feels like they were all high as a kite or something. Like the emotion doesn't come through with any character in this game, so that makes it even worse.
Or
But yeah,
better.
it's totally not for me. Like people who enjoy it, good for you, but I think it's one of the most generic open world games I've ever played. Still better than Breath of the Wild though, so at least it has that going for
Crazy
it.
Awesome has been trying to get me to play Horizon Zero Dawn for like 3 years now. He's even like committed
Hmm.
channel points to me playing the game. I just like, ugh, a 50-hour game. I don't have time to play a 50-hour game right now.
Yeah, you would enjoy it a little bit more than me because you also
Probably.
like Assassin's Creed and things like
Yeah,
that.
I
So
like open world games.
yeah, so for you it will be better probably, but for me it just doesn't catch my
That's fair.
attention in any way. But I will continue playing it. Now I'm committed to finishing it, just because I'm like, one time in this game something must happen that I actually will enjoy. So I don't
Well, you
know.
get
We'll
to
see.
shoot like giant robot dinosaurs, don't you? Right, that's like the
Yeah,
whole
but it's
plot.
not fun. It's
All
just
right,
not
well,
fun at all for me, at least. So
time
yeah,
to go play Shadow of the Colossus then.
I played that one. That was also boring,
That's not
but.
even open world. Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, those games are just way beyond me. But whatever. So that's all I've been playing on PlayStation. I for some reason on my PC on my laptop, the Google Docs kept crashing, so it didn't update. Apparently, earlier today I played Helltaker, which is a free game on Steam, because I had it in my library and Steam has this like carousel that says like what you should be playing next or something from your library. I've seen it pop up there, but I had no idea what it was, and it looked like kind of dumb to be honest. But then I saw a video earlier where somebody played it for 5 minutes and was like, "Oh, this is a really cool game, and it only takes like 40 minutes." I was like, "Okay, I have nothing to do. I'll just check it out real quick." And yeah, it took me an hour to finish the game. It's both a puzzle game and a fast reaction game, depending on the stage you're in. But they're all really short puzzles. I think there's 17 stages in total, give or take. Um, and yeah, it's cool. It has a dumb premise, like you're a guy who wakes up after a nightmare where you think you need a harem of demon girls, so you go to hell to get demon girls. Um, it's not a not suitable for work game or anything like that. No worries. It's just a very dumb premise with some dumb jokes in it. But yeah, it's a cool game and it has some good music. So
Oh,
if you want to check out a really quick game, uh, go check out Helltaker on Steam. It's free, so
never even heard
why
of it.
shouldn't? Yeah, nobody probably,
I
but
never even heard of
yeah.
that game.
So yeah, it's all right. Like it's very serviceable. It's a fun 1 hour game, and especially because it's for free. So yeah, there you go. And I have been playing Biota on Steam, which is like it's spelled with dots in between or after each letter. But I think you can just find it if you type in Biota, which is a Game Boy inspired graphics. Um, Metroidvania, Metroid-like game, which has some mediocre hard platforming. Let's say it like that. It's not an easy one. It's not a hard one, but it does provide some challenge. I'm really liking this game, and I actually finished it a little bit earlier. But like with any Metroid-like game, there's of course a 100% completion thing. Yada yada yada. Normally I would go for that, but there is one thing that absolutely for me makes this game horrible. You can get locked out of the good ending because of one thing you have to do in the game and you only get one chance to do it. If you fail it, you just get locked out because the game saves right after you failed and you cannot go back to the previous point. Which is awful game design. Do not do that at all. I do not understand why they would do that. Because it's right at the end of the game. So you have to replay the entire game just to get back there. It's dumb. I don't know why they did it. It's absolutely dumb. Oh,
Never heard. Is it like
uh,
a Metroidvania precision platformer? Kinda.
it's a little bit of everything. Like it has
Oh,
shmup sections. It has
oh,
like vehicle sections. It has blah blah blah. But normally it's just like a Metroid game where you just go from point A to point B to find an item so you can go to point C and you go all over the map. It's not that big of a map either or anything like that, but yeah, it's your typical progression that you would get for a Metroid game. But yeah, it's really cool. Except that one thing, it's kind of weird that that they would block you off of getting the good ending because of one well, not mistake. It's one thing you can fail. Uh, I don't understand how they chose to do that. Like it just baffles my mind. But besides that, it's a really really cool game. If you can grab it, definitely do so. I think it's $10 or something on Steam. Like I got it during the sale. Um, but I really enjoyed playing it for sure. But I will go back to it to complete it later on. I did play some actual Game Boy games, not that many though, but I did play some. I finally finished Paperboy 2. I'm not gonna go on about that game because actually my next slide will be about Paperboy and
Oh
Paperboy 2.
boy.
Don't ask me why I'm doing a light on it. Probably because I'm very furious. But yeah, I just need to talk about that game to get all my thoughts out of my head.
Such good games on Game Boy. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's not a good game on any system ever made. But
Well, let's
what?
not get crazy here.
Oh, I mean that for sure. But yeah, I will go into detail whenever I record the light and whenever that comes out. So be prepared for that. For some very choice words about the entire Paperboy franchise. I also played Doraemon Card, which is the weirdest card game I've ever played in my
Yeah,
life
it's
because
so
like
good.
you pick Doraemon and Doraemon just gets items constantly without having to pick
Yeah,
them up and you win. That's literal what this game is. It's weird.
it's a
Like
relatively short game too, right?
yeah, it has
Yeah,
story mode or just like cup mode, I guess. I don't even know. But yeah, story mode is like you go through the same tracks 4 times, I believe, and they change the course a little bit in between in between each
yeah,
level. I was kind of expecting there to be just like 20 levels or something, but yeah, it's a weird game. Like you can finish it in an hour if you pick Doraemon because he's
yeah,
literally overpowered. Uh,
yeah.
and it has a weird system where if you do not get first in the first lap, just reset the stage
Yeah,
because you're never gonna get in front again because the AI keeps spamming items and you can never get in front anymore. So it's a
I
weird balance game.
I played the game for like 15 minutes one night. And I was like, oh, I just looped my tracks. I'm like, did I beat the game? Question mark. Yeah, I played as Doraemon too. I was just like, oh,
Hmm.
this game's incredibly easy. That's why I was trying to get someone to play it because I was like, I don't have time to like play the game, but I want to know how long it is. So,
Yeah, it's 40, 50 minutes or
oh, that's
something like
super
that.
short.
So yeah, there's really nothing to that game. It just depends
Perfect.
if you get unlucky that like you can get first in the first lap, but it doesn't take that long to reset the stage anyway. So yeah, weird game. Check it out. It's like Japan only, of course, but
Yep.
there's better Doraemon games on Game Boy than this.
True.
Um, after that, I played Miner 2049er, which is like an old
It's a very old game.
Atari ZX Spectrum. I don't
There
know.
you
It's like a
go.
very old.
70s.
Yeah, it's super old. And actually, I really like this game. It's a very
It's
cool port. It just suffers from precision problems, I
yeah.
would say. Like sometimes one of the platforms doesn't get picked up unless you do it in a perfect way, yada yada yada. If you've ever played City Connection, which is on NES, I believe as well, which is also a port of an arcade game, you just you have a character and you have to step on each platform in the stage. To convert it and then you win the stage. This game only gives you 3 lives. You can get an extra one if you get 10,000 points or 1,000 points, one of the two. The problem is you can't have more than 3 lives, so even if you get set amount of points, if you already have 3 lives, it's just lost, which is dumb in my opinion, but it's fine. Because yeah, it's 10 very short stages, but you have to like learn how to deal with said stage. There's only two difficult ones in my opinion, 6 and 7. All the other stages are like relatively easy to figure out. But yeah, 6 and 7 took me a while to realize what I needed to do. And just a tip for anybody who is gonna play this, you do not have a dedicated jump, even though it seems like it. And that's something I only
No.
figured out after 4 hours, because I kept jumping like you normally would. You keep the direction pressed and you jump. But if you jump upwards first and then press the direction button, you can actually like nudge yourself instead of like making a full jump, and that made things a lot easier because I kept missing platforms because of that. But yeah, this game looks ugly, sounds ugly, but it was actually a very fun arcade style game,
It
and I don't usually like these kinds of games. So
it was actually a pretty huge deal back in the early '80s because it actually like pushed the Atari to almost its limits because it was like it
mm,
was 10 screens instead of like the normal 3, and they put it on a 16K ROM, which for Atari back then was $50. $50 for an Atari game in 1982 was pretty damn pricey. So, but the game was super innovative for this time, and it's unfortunate that you don't get to see that in the Game Boy port. Um, but there's a lot of history behind that game.
yeah, and it has the best video game character that everybody knows and loves till this day,
True.
Bounty Bob. Like
Bounty
everybody
Bob.
knows him. I'm still waiting for the Smash DLC with Bounty Bob, but
We're gonna have to wait for
guess
the
we'll.
next Smash Brothers on
Yeah,
the Switch 2 or whatever it's gonna be called
yeah, yeah.
when
But yeah,
Sakurai makes the
bring
new
back
one.
Bounty Bob. We need him. But yeah, it's a cool game. I thought it was fun. So,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
enjoyed
then the
that game a
final
lot.
game I played, which probably everybody in the whole wide world has played, uh, and if you haven't yet, shame on you. Like, come on, it's available on literally every system in the world, except maybe Google's
Free on Game
Stadia.
Pass even.
Free on Game Pass, yeah, if you have that. But I, of course, played Shredder's Revenge because, hell yeah, what a fantastic game!
It is good.
Incredible. It's all we ever wanted from a new Turtles game. Oh, thank you very much for the people who made it happen. Excellent, excellent. And it ties into this episode as well. So
It does.
there you go. Yeah.
Well, you've been busy.
It looks like I've been busy, but this was like over the span of a month and a half or something. So I really haven't done that much, to be honest.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, that's all I have been playing. What have you been up to?
So, The Machine. I just got my physical copy of The Machine from Ben Jelter. So a Game Boy homebrew game. And this game has 25 different endings. And it's a very interesting game. You you have to take an aptitude test at the start of the game. So you don't know any of the answers going into the game fresh. So like you have options, like you could like answer, you can guess, or you can like cheat, but like the chances of you getting it right just out of the gate is pretty slim. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like you're gonna fail the aptitude test, and your teacher's gonna be like, "You're too dumb to go to the job fair. Now you have to be a pleb and go get like a like a working job." And it was like, "Oh, okay." And you can choose between like a cop and a factory worker to start, um, and then from there, like it branches out into like different avenues. Like if you go cop, like you can be like a normal cop, or it could be like a crooked cop, or it all branches out. And as you play the game, you learn about the questions on the test. So like
Right.
you get to learn like you get to know the answers to the test. So like the next time you play through the game, it highlights the answer for you. So you can just choose that, and then once you get like above like a 60% on the aptitude test, you can go to the job fair and get like different jobs basically. But uh, yeah, everything leads you in a different direction. So like there's 25 different endings to the game. Ton of replay value. I think I have 7 hours into the game right now, and each playthrough is about an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So it's I've played the game a lot so far, and there's achievements in the game, so I know Mo would love it. Um, so there's a lot of cool stuff in the game. It's a little open worldy as well too, because like you have a job, but like there's a lot of other side stuff. You're just like, like what is this? Like, like what happens if I do this and you get in trouble and then other things happen. It's actually a super cool, really in depth game with a really interesting story. Other than that, Far Cry. I've been playing Far Cry 5 recently. I'm actually almost done with it. I've waited like 5 years to play the game. I don't know why, but it was free on Game Pass, and I was like, you know what? Like, I have no reason not to play it now. So, uh, cool game. Mo would hate it because it's open world.
And it's first person.
And it's first person, and the fact that one parts of the game gave me a headache. I wouldn't imagine what it would do to you. So
Yeah.
the drug part was rough. Faith Seeds section is not for the faint of heart. That was a bottle of Tylenol and get through it as fast as possible. She drugs you and the screen goes haywire. It's awful. Like Mo, I played Shredder's Revenge, but I played it co-op with Gronin Hero on stream a while back. So that was a lot of fun. We did Raphael and Michelangelo co-op playthrough on Gnarly, the hardest difficulty. So that was a lot of fun. That was a good time. Then I went back and played through it again solo with Casey Jones, who is crazy overpowered.
Yeah.
Casey Jones is probably the funnest character to play, but like if you're looking to keep that challenge, like play like April or like one of the turtles. Don't play Leonardo; he's the worst character in the game.
I like playing as April actually. Yeah.
April's not bad. Splinter's kind of useless. Leonardo is super useless. Donatello is the best after Casey Jones. And Donatello's not even my favorite turtle. Is his bow staff is that range on it's so dumb.
Yeah.
And he plays a Game Boy when he taunts. I mean,
Indeed.
yeah, the taunting you taunt a lot in Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah.
You taunt a lot.
It's a little broken, the taunting, but yeah.
It is super broken. If you watch like the co-op playthrough of Gronin and I, if you look at towards the end, it's just him and I like taunting like 10 minutes just to get our meters up. It's kind of ridiculous, but it was kind of neat at the same time. And then I played I didn't finish it because I was going to stream it, but I started playing this game called Trek to Yomi. It's it's a weird game. It's all in black and white with film grain. And you're a set. You train as a samurai. You become a samurai. If you've ever played like the best thing I compare it to is the Assassin's Creed Chronicle games. So like the Assassin's Creed Chronicle games are like these side-scrolling, like they're not your normal open world. Like they're the side-scrolling like kind of puzzle jumper type games. It's kind of similar to that, but like the camera like moves with you as well as you progress through the game, and you have to like know when to block and parry, and it's actually kind of a neat game. It's like a very simplified version of Ghost of Tsushima.
Right.
But it's a fairly short game from what I read, and so I kind of want to finish it eventually and check it out in full. But that's all I've really been up to. I read The Last Ronin. I finished that yesterday, which was the Turtles, which was a Turtles arc. So meshes right back. Well, almost meshes back into this. And yeah, that's all I've done so far. We did it. We got through an intro.
We did it, yeah. Discord is being very stupid for me because you keep like
Am I cutting in and out?
Yeah, it's very dumb.
I can fix that for you.
Hopefully.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Voice sensitivity. There we go. I turned it down a bit, so now You should.
Yeah. I don't think that's a problem. It's literally just like it stops and then I hear the last part of your sentence, but I can keep up so far. So that's
Well,
fine.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's go diving into the actual game for this episode. And this is the perfect time to be talking about this game because again, Shredder's Revenge came out like what 2 weeks ago. The Last Ronin hardcover came out this week. And within a few weeks, we will have the Turtles Cowabunga collection coming out.
Yeah, I forgot
And
about that.
this game is on it, so this is definitely the best time to be talking turtles, really. So yeah, we're gonna take a quick break with one of the amazing songs from this game, and when we get back, we'll start diving into TMNT 2 Back from the Sewers. See you then. And for everybody watching, you can still see us now, of course.
I think this is the skateboarding stage.
Well, I can't hear it.
Oh yeah, it's skateboarding stage, Act 2.
All right.
Get your cat jams and rat jams in chat.
All the jams. Excuse me.
There's actually a lot about this composer. I'm actually really excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I can only handle music so much right now. Alright, welcome back everybody. Hope you enjoyed that banger from Act 2 of the game where you get to be on a skateboard going against Bebop. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But Turtles 2, so released November 15th, 1991 as, well, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. And then December of 91 in the Americas, and then May 21st, 1992 in Europe. It has Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yep.
So
I think we covered the reason why for that in our Fall of the Foot Clan episode. I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, because Europe.
You want more info on that? Just go back to it.
Europe is weird. That's why.
Thank you, Germany.
Yeah, thank you, Germany. Another reason to thank Germany.
I think it was the UK actually in this case, but
well,
whatever.
we're still blaming Germany.
Yeah.
Developed by Konami, published by Konami back when they made good games. Composer. Oh, I love Japanese names. Tsuyoshi Sekito?
I mean, sure. Tsuyoshi Sekito is fine, yeah.
Alright. So I actually have a decent amount of history about this guy here, so not to go crazy in depth with him, but was employed at Square Enix since 1995, so he worked on Final Fantasy stuff because Square Enix. He composed some of the best things he's known for is the Brave Fencer Musashi, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. If you never saw that movie, you should probably go see it. And The Last Remnant in 2008. His career started at the end of the 80s when he joined Konami and worked on Space Manbo, but also worked with Hideo Kojima on SD Snatcher and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. the MSX versions, obviously. As for video game compilations, Double Dribble, Turtles 2, Tiny Toons Adventure, Buster's Hidden Treasures, Lethal Enforcers 2, the Chrono Trigger re-release on PlayStation, like the pretty much anything from '95 on Square Enix, he had a hand in, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it
Mm-hmm.
was Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts.
Yep,
Yeah.
big name, big name.
He's also in a band called the Black Mages, and the
All
Star Onion.
right, yeah.
Yeah, so he plays guitar for the Black Mages and the Star Onions, and both groups actually do compositions for the Final Fantasy series. So
Awesome.
big time into audio composition, especially for the Final Fantasy franchise.
And it shines in this game that he
Yeah,
is actually an amazing composer because it's one of my favorite soundtracks on Game Boy for sure.
yeah. Genre beat 'em up and platformer.
Both in quotes because,
Yes.
like with a lot of beat 'em ups on Game Boy, enemies only take one hit, except for bosses. And it is a platformer because you do some platforming in this game, but it's more of go up a level and down a level, not really just jump over pits or dodge stuff or something.
Walk
like
right,
that, so.
sometimes press B.
No. So yeah.
Plot, Mr. Muelle.
Yes, I have the plot here because we actually have the manual for this game. It's not much, so I mean, don't go grab a coffee and sit down in your lazy chair to listen to this epic tale of four turtles. It's literally just one page, and if you know a Game Boy manual, that's really not much. So yeah, Cowabunga, they're back from the sewers. Hey dudes and dudettes, your favorite heroes in a half shell are back for more action against Shredder and the Evil Foot Clan. It looks like Shredder is getting pretty frustrated with Splinter's boys. This time he has kidnapped Ace reporter April. This time? You mean every time?
Every time.
And he is using her to set a trap for the turtles. The bad news is that Shredder isn't alone. The evil alien Krang is working with him. Yeah, duh. To plan his ambush. Between the two of them, this may be the toughest battle the turtles have ever faced. It is not. Just spoilers. They have faced way way worse things than this, but yeah, that's literally it. April gets kidnapped.
Oh boy.
I mean,
Leave her kidnapped. She's useless.
yeah. Weirdly enough, in the comics, she never gets kidnapped, so that's just a trope from the video games. I don't even think she gets kidnapped a lot in the cartoon either, to be honest. So
She gets nabbed a couple times, but like nothing
yeah,
to the degree of like what the video games do.
yeah, they always kidnap her somehow. Luckily, she didn't get kidnapped in Shredder's
I was gonna
Revenge.
say
So.
she wasn't kidnapped in Shredder's Revenge. She's a playable character in that game.
We finally learned that kidnapping April O'Neil is not gonna help at all. So.
But they do kidnap other news people, though.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the plot of this game. Nothing special. So just your typical video game turtle story.
Yep. Controls for the game real basic. A jumps, B attacks, down A slide kicks. You can press select. You can throw missiles. Um,
Yeah, that's a little tidbit from the manual actually.
what do you got going on in the background?
Well, people are either dying or on fire, so it's one of those two.
I just hear sirens in the background. I'm like, oh no, Mo's going to jail. Oh no.
That's what you get for living right next to one of the busiest roads around here. It's constantly like this. And my window is open because it's scorching hot. So,
Yeah, it sucks
um,
out.
so yeah, select absolutely does nothing in this game. But the manual says like it throws missiles, but Shredder's goons broke the button, so it doesn't work anymore.
Sure.
That was actually pretty clever.
I thought that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Characters to choose from. You got your four turtles: Leo, Raph, Mike, and Donatello. They all they all have some sort of difference to them, but like the only notice I difference is with Donatello because he's a bow staff.
Yeah.
That's the only difference that I can tell
Yeah.
because like Leo has the swords right, but he doesn't like extend them when he swings. Really, like Raph has the size, which they only reach so far. Mike has nunchucks, which again they only reach so far. But Donatello has this giant bow staff. It's
Yeah.
just like, all right.
Yeah. For some reason, the manual also lists their speed. I cannot notice a difference
I'm
between speed between any of them. So
I've
I
never
think,
noticed a speed difference.
yeah, I think they mean attack speed and not movement speed, because it is
Oh,
true that like with Raphael you can like spam it a little bit faster than with Donatello, where it has to extend and then come back to him. I think they mean that, but I think when it comes to walking speed, it's just literally the same. So,
that would make more sense.
yeah.
Items pizza. Pretty,
Yeah, that's
pretty basic in this game. Item pizza.
pizza.
Difficulty levels. So each difficulty level changes the boss patterns, including the Rex one, like you put in the notes. More or less traps and enemies on the stages. On hard, the spawn rate to some enemies, like the Mousers, it's pretty ridiculous. You play on hard, I don't.
I always play on hard. Yeah,
The Mousers piss me off, so.
it gets absurd when it comes to the Mousers. Well, I don't know. I think it's just like I said in the notes as well. I think it's a fun challenge if you already played the game before. So,
Yeah.
and especially because the boss patterns are way different. I think that's the best part of it. Like the Mousers is just an annoyance that comes with it, but I think the boss patterns changing is actually pretty
Yeah.
cool way of dealing with difficulty levels in this game. So.
I agree with that. Yeah. After you defeat each stage, you can go into a bonus stage by collecting pizzas, or you can rescue people, right? I've only ever done pizzas. I never paid much attention to the bonus stages. I don't like bonus stages.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just for points or to get
rescue a
full health
turtle.
back again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you in this game you don't have lives, you actually your lives are the turtles, but there are continues, so you would just go back to the start of the last stage you were on. But every time a turtle gets defeated, they get captured by one of the Rex One robots. If you've ever seen the cartoon, they are these like RoboCop slash Terminator knockoffs that were invented to keep crime off the streets, but then they get hacked
It's
and they're an enemy.
a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to fight one of these, and if you defeat them, you rescue one of the turtles. You
Yeah.
technically get a life back. So, but if you never die, you never have to fight the Rex.
It's like turtles on NES, right? Like you lose a turtle, you gotta go rescue it. Like you don't have to go into some random stage to go rescue the turtle, but you gotta rescue it regardless.
Mm,
And your health, like each turtle has its own health bar as well too. So
yeah.
that's something else to take into consideration. Because maybe like you're getting absolutely just dominated by mousers with one turtle, and you need to hurry up and swap to another. So
Yeah. It's a fun way of dealing with the different characters. The
yeah.
same thing happened in the previous game, actually. Like your turtles are your lives.
Oh yeah.
In that game, literally there was virtually no difference between turtles. In this, yeah, a little bit when it comes to the range, of course. But you didn't have any chance of rescuing a turtle either. So once they
Right.
were dead, they were just gone forever.
Just like the last Ronin.
Just like the last one.
All right, stages. So stage one is, you call it Footloose. Is that what they call it in the manual?
No, like all these stages are just called Act One, Act
Yeah.
Two, Act Three.
Oh,
So, so I just try to come up with some Turtles in Time / Shredder's Revenge naming of stages, I guess, to make them at least a little bit
Kevin
more
Bacon's
interesting.
gonna come and start dancing across the screen.
Yes, that is totally the intended pun here.
Yeah. You know what I forgot to do? Was start the video of the Turtles game on the podcast.
Oh, well.
Well, now you get to see it because I just remembered. So,
Right.
this stage pays a lot of homage to the first Turtles Game Boy game. Except the sprites aren't 14 times the size that they ought to be. They're properly sized this time. Um, Basically, it's kind of similar to the first Turtles game as well too. You're holding right. If you attack, you stop moving. So you have foot members coming from the front and the back. Turn around, swipe at them. Turn around, swipe at them. Press forward. One of my favorite parts, I believe, it's in the second section of Act 1, where the Foot Clan come out of the sewers and throw the manhole covers at you. And if you fall into the manhole, it's actually a cool animation falling in, then your eyes blink, and you're like, who turned out the lights? And then you, flip out of the manhole. It's actually a super cool animation.
Yeah, it's
um,
nice that they did that on Game Boy. This, of course, is a reference to the arcade game or the second
yeah,
NES game where I think you can also fall down the things, and they do the same thing. But it's kind of nice they put that in the Game
yeah.
Boy one as well.
Yeah, I thought that's probably one of my favorite parts of the first stage. But again, the first stage, real basic. It's hold right, kill the foot members, basically getting you used to your controls, showing basically letting you understand hitboxes, just getting you acquainted with the game essentially.
Yeah.
You do come across a really small little gauntlet in the third part of the game right before you face off against Rocksteady. You come across a few of these gauntlets throughout the game, more so
Mhm.
towards the end, but for the most part, they're easy because they're foot members. They die in one hit.
Yeah, it's just like in any beat 'em up basically, where you can't move forward, but you're just locked in the screen and you have to defeat everybody
Yeah,
before moving on. So yeah, that's something that didn't happen in the first game or something like that. Uh, but yeah, it's typical of a beat 'em up that you clear the screen before you move on. But as this is also kind of a platforming game, usually you can just move on. So this
yeah.
is one of those times that the game just halts to let you fight some enemies.
Yep. Then you face off against Rocksteady. Extremely basic fight. It's apparently storming outside. It just shook my
Okay.
apartment. I was like, what the hell was that? That caught me off guard. So you face off against Rocksteady, and Rocksteady is kinda easy dumb. Basically he runs left to right, right to left, while Foot Clan members are dropping bags from the building. And you can reflect his bullets when he shoots at you by swinging at them. There's no Z axis in this stage, so Rocksteady is just constantly on the Y axis or X axis, going back and forth at you. Basically, you kind of just jump over him as he's running towards you, kick him, rinse and repeat. Swing your weapon when he shoots at you. It's a very easy fight.
Yeah, it's kind of a callback to the Rocksteady fight in the first Game Boy game, where he's also just like running left to right and shooting at
Yeah.
you, and you can kick off, swing away the bullets. So uh, it's kind of the same fight, but it's a little bit more animated. He also jumps over you from time to time, and there is indeed a Foot Clan dropping flower pots. I believe they are
Oh,
actually.
are they? Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, on hard mode, they drop a lot more of these, and he tends to be moving a little bit faster than on the other difficulties. On easy mode, there's no Foot Clan members, so it's a really simple fight
Yeah.
in that one. So yeah, going on to the next stage, a little change of pace from your normal stage. This one I call All on Board. because it's the rocket-fueled skateboarding autoscroller part. Um, so if you've ever played a Turtles beat 'em up, you know what you're in for. There's one of these in literally each one of them. So you're on a skateboard over the highway. The clan members will basically come after you, trying to shoot you down with missiles or just running into you. But there's also these helicopter Foot Clan dudes, which also are in literally every Turtles game that is a beat 'em up. And yes, they are even. Wait, my phone went off. That was weird. They are just as annoying as they are in every other game. Like they're really hard to hit actually in this game for
Yeah,
some
they're
reason.
brutal.
Yeah, I do this little trick where I just jump from the bottom to the top while kicking, so you just fly across the screen, so you cannot not hit them because you literally kicked across the entire screen. But yeah, they're kind of annoying in this game for sure. Even more annoying than usual. After a while, you will run across a foot car. I guess it's called dropping barrels over the street, and you have to jump over them. Like it's a pretty standard auto-scrolling stage in a
Super
beat 'em up.
standard.
Yeah. And by the end of the road, there's this huge gap where the car crashed, and Bebop is waiting for you to kick your ass.
I actually prefer Donatello on this stage. Like I usually play the game as Raphael because Raphael is my favorite turtle. But like this stage, I definitely prefer Donnie on. So
Yeah.
Bebop. So Bebop was kind of a weird fight because like the patterns were kind of like there's a pattern, but it's kind of weird on how the pattern starts and ends. So Bebop is going to shoot 4 shots vertically. So there's actually a Z axis to this fight now. So he's going to shoot 4 shots. When I say vertically, I don't mean like up in the air. I mean like across the Z axis. So you got to jump over his shots. And then as you jump over his shots, you're going to kick Bebop. But then once Bebop is like walking to the other side of the screen, he'll just want to like magnet right into you and just stay in you. And then you're gonna hit him a few times. He's gonna hurt you a few times. He's just going back, and he's gonna do his 4 shots again and rinse repeat. But he loves to just magnetize right to you, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get away from him. So
Yeah, he comes up to you and tries to uppercut you, and indeed, if you have Donatello, you have a little bit more room to like not get hit by that. Um, if you play as Raphael, you have to
yeah,
get so close that you're just gonna be trading shots. So definitely not worth attacking through that phase of the fight. I don't know if it's only on hard difficulty, but I do know that he like also jumps from the top of the screen to the bottom, like in a zigzag formation, to the other side. Um,
I think
in
that's hard
which
mode. Yeah,
yeah, in which case he's completely vulnerable throughout, so you just have to avoid it. It's not that hard to avoid or anything, but and that's definitely that something that comes in the higher difficulties of this game.
but yeah, beat him up. Going to another bonus stage. Yeah, Bebop. Stage 3, hardly constructive. Um, this stage again, it was a pretty basic hold right and swing your whatever weapon turtle that you're using. Except for this stage introduces the most annoying enemy in all of Turtles games and is the Mousers. I absolutely hate fighting Mousers. I hated them in Turtles 1 on the NES, and I hated them in Shredder's Revenge. Mousers are the worst enemy in any Turtles game ever. Um, but yeah, this game this stage introduces the Mousers. Again, the Mousers die in one hit, but oh man, they spawn so fast. There's so many of them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but once you get out of the first little section, then you go into an elevator gauntlet, which, if you've ever done an elevator gauntlet before, you kind of know what to expect. You're going to have Foot coming from the bottom onto the elevator, and from the top onto the elevator. Again, the Foot Clan die in one hit. This should not be much of a problem at all. Once you get out of there, it is Mouser hell all the way until Krang. And when I mean Mouser hell, it is non-stop Mousers coming from both sides of the screen from the time you finish the gauntlet to the time you enter the Krang fight. It is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not quick enough, it is brutal.
One of the hardest parts in the game if you're playing on hard mode, because it's relentless. It's literally every half a second a new one spawns in.
Yeah.
So
it I play on I play on normal whatever it was, and it lagged my game. I couldn't imagine what it's like on hard when they're just like doubling the amount of mousers coming at you. Like, oh,
yeah. On easy mode, it's normal. Like it's like every 2 seconds or something. God. So you actually have room to breathe in that. But yeah.
Mouse is the worst enemy in Turtles. But then you get to face off against Walking Mech or Metal Gear Krang.
Yeah, we're already on Krang.
Yeah, already done with the game basically. Krang is in his little like walking gears, little walking mech. Kind of an easy fight. He's gonna drop bombs from the sky. He's gonna shoot bombs out of his mech that fall from the sky. Just standing between him to dodge him. Krang is gonna fly over and try and land on you. You can just walk under him. The hardest part is when he wants to go back to the right side of the screen. He's probably just gonna walk into you. So just take that time and just deal some damage into him. His pattern's real basic. He shoots up rockets, they fall, you dodge him, he jumps up in the air, flies for a bit, drops down, and then backward walks to the right side of the screen again. Rinse and repeat. Easy fight, but expect to take damage.
Yeah, for sure. On hard mode, he does this thing, this fake out thing where he starts walking to the left but then shoots you and goes back to the right. So yeah, like I said, this is actually a pretty hard stage, not only because of the mousers, but also because of this fight, because it does get pretty hard to dodge all of the attacks if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, if you're playing on hard, make sure you know what's up there.
Yeah. Stage 4. Oh, this is the second ugliest stage in the game.
True.
Yeah. Call it cave and craving. Yeah, you're craving caves, all right, in this stage. By far the least aesthetically pleasing looking stage in the game so far. Before this, all the details and the backgrounds and the atmosphere, spot on, like very well done, very well conceptualized. We go into a cave, it looks like just someone took a poop and you're just running through the poop sewers because it does not look good.
It look better than the cave in Turtles 1 though, which was literally just black background and like a floor and nothing else. So
it does have texture
at going
least.
For it.
It's textured turds on the wall this time. It says smooth turds. But basically, the first part is pretty simple. You have these giant boulders for some reason that roll behind you. I call them meatballs. You go down this hill and you run fast down a hill because hill physics. And while running down a hill, you have to keep jumping over the boulders. That's literally the first part of the stage. Is not to get ran over by the meatballs. And then part 2, Mouser Heaven again. There's holes in the floor and in the wall. They all come out. It's Mouser Heaven in the caves, and it is a disaster. This is probably my least favorite stage in the game. It's pretty much all I gotta say about this stage. Then you face off against the pizza monster.
Yeah, then they introduce a mini boss in this stage, which is the pizza monster. If you've ever seen the episode where like they put meatballs on a pizza and then they put them in the oven, but they're actually X from Dimension X. And then there's like this xenomorph, but it's yellow because, of course, it can't be an actual xenomorph, even though it absolutely looks like a xenomorph.
It's
But
what
it
a
is yellow, so it's legally distinct. So they call him the pizza monster. Not to be confused with the ones that are in Shredder's Revenge, which I actually don't know where they're from. Uh, but they're more like cheese monsters than pizza
Oh
monsters, I
yeah,
guess.
damn, I forgot about
Yeah,
them. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I
yeah,
forgot about them.
they're different. So,
They
but
are
it's the
different,
first one. Yeah,
but
fun episode actually. Very cool. Uh,
yeah,
but
Pizza Monster.
yeah, on easy and normal, it's just one of them. On hard, it's two, I believe, um, in the water. So yeah, they are in the water. They pop out after every 3 steps they take. So it depends on where the third step is where they will pop out, and you just jump kick them, and
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. It only takes 5 hits to take them down.
yeah. Basically, just look where the water shadow is. That's where they're gonna pop out.
Yeah.
Pretty basic mini boss. Then once you defeat the pizza monster, you go off the face against Shredder. The first Shredder fight, pretty easy, honestly.
Mhm.
there's no Z axis to the Shredder fight. It's only X and Y. So Shredder's gonna just kind of like I guess charge. You can kind of call it a charge. Left to right, right to left. And he's gonna do a charge beam at you. Um, you jump over the charge beam and kick him in the face. He'll also jump up in the air and try and drop kick you. Just stand under him and he'll jump over you and then just punch him in the back of the head. It's actually a super easy fight in comparison to some of the other Shredder fights that you have in the past. So
Yeah, that is true on easy and normal. On hard mode, however, he moves so fast that you will probably die the first time you encounter him. He actually moves so fast when he's trying to do his diving jump kicks that you have to slide at the correct time in order to even be able to dodge him. So, again, like I said, hard mode actually provides a challenge, which is cool. Uh, so
that's good.
definitely check it out.
That's good. Stage 5. Act 5. Descending Ascension. So this, in terms of level design, this is my least favorite stage.
It's also the weirdest because it makes absolutely no sense what is going on.
It
But
doesn't at
yes,
all.
somehow you get dropped off this floating construction beams in the sky. They drop you from the turtles blimp, and that's the stage.
The Turtles blimp
Like,
is even better too, because like Splinter is staring at you with the biggest grin ever while flying the Turtles blimp. It's so good. But basically, I call it the Mega Man 2 stage. It's the Airman stage where you just jump across the platforms in the air, and if you fall, you're probably likely to be dead. Um,
no, because it's just a repeating
well,
stage.
if the bottom, you will be.
No,
Yeah,
it's an
I have
endless.
died. No, I have died in
It's
this
an
stage
endless
falling.
repeating stage.
You can die falling. I have
I'm
video.
pretty sure you
I
can't.
have video of it. You can
I
die
don't know
falling.
how far you dropped them, but
You can die falling in the stage.
I have never ever seen that in my
Yeah,
life.
it's dumb. It's the dumbest stage ever. But basically, go as far right as the game allows you to, and then you end up facing off against Baxter Stockman. Um, Baxter again, not a is a XY fight. But when I say he shoots vertically this time, I actually mean he shoots in the air. So
Hmm.
he's gonna do 3 shots, and he's gonna swoop down. Basically, and there's like 2 little levels you can jump on. You can jump on like this roof of like this little like building on the roof, or you can stay on the ground level. You basically just jump over the 3 shots, kick Baxter in his fly face, and then rinse and repeat. He's gonna do that left to right, right to left. Extremely easy fight to not get hit on. So
Yeah, same on hard. It's like the dumbest fights you can imagine, really.
Yeah. Then you face off against Sergeant Granitor. And this was probably the most annoying fight, in my opinion, to go against because he turns into a dumb ball. So he turns into a ball, rolls around like an rolls around like an idiot, and then once he pops out, he like shoots a flamethrower. The only time you can hurt him is when he's out of his ball form. But when he's out of his ball form, he's shooting his damn flamethrower. So it's kind of hard to do the fight without taking a decent amount of damage.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
it's just there's so much downtime in the fight. It's just a super annoying fight. There's no like real pattern to it. He drops to a ball, rolls around, comes out, turns into a gun, and that's when you have to hit him. It's just a matter of just paying attention, and you're gonna fall asleep during this fight because it's so boring. So, but once you beat him up, you get to save April.
Yeah, and you get your sweet April kiss. Uh, so yeah, we've saved April. The game is over, right?
Game is
I
over.
mean that was the entire point of this game.
True.
Oh, yeah. So roll credits.
That's right. We don't care about Shredder, Krang.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not over
We
because of course
we've already
we
beat
have
him.
to. Yeah, we actually did already
Yeah,
beat
we've
him.
already beat him.
But yeah, for some reason they go after him yet again in the Technodrome because I mean this is Turtles and you have to have a Technodrome stage. Um, so we're jumping into Act 6, which I called the Last Croman. Uh, Figure that joke out.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, so yeah, this starts off with another auto scroller. This time you are not on a skateboard, but on a surfboard, which is rocket powered because everything is rocket powered in this game. There's some mines in the water and some bullets that come probably from the Technodrome, trying to stop you, trying to reach them. So this is a short part. It's not that hard on easy and medium. On hard, however, there are a lot of mines, and also mines that suddenly just pop up from out of the ground. So yeah, you better make sure you know where they are, or you're gonna have a bad time. So after this, you jump off the thing in the sewer, and you jump into another amazingly uh, visually impressive cave.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is,
it.
yeah, it's literally a continuation of Act 4, where there's holes in the ground. There's actually some foot soldiers hiding behind pillars that will slide towards you. And meanwhile, the Technodrome is also shooting lasers at you, which you have to dodge. But you come across some holes in the ground again with mousers, of course, while still trying to dodge all those shots. And then you finally reach a Technodrome, and here's a part that I thought I put in there, but also disappeared again because I don't know what's going on. But you actually face off against another boss right here on the how do you call those tire tracks, tank treads?
Railroad
The
trail
thing,
or
like the thing where a tank drives on, like the tracks.
yeah, the tracks, tank tracks.
Yeah, tank tracks. Yeah, there you go. You fight off against, and now I forgot his name because it's gone now. Uh, Got Sergeant Granitor, and what's the other one? He was in Shredder's Revenge as well.
I don't remember. It was the roly poly guy, but this time instead of a flamethrower, he does like a burst
Yeah, he
fire
has
at
a
you.
machine gun. Yeah, it's the other guy. I always forget their names. I'm gonna look it up. It's
Roly poly too.
Granitor and okay, Roly Poly. Yeah, that's how I
Roll.
Granitor and don't say only Granitor. I need the other one. Jesus Christ. Yeah, here's a Trock. There we go.
There you
He has
go.
a dumb name. That's why I can't remember. Uh, so yeah, it's General Trock, I think, or yeah, General Trock, the other Stone Soldier uh, guy. But yeah, like EBC said, it's like the same fight, but this time only on the x-axis. You are on the tank treads that are constantly moving while he's also trying to roll you over. Pretty okayish fight on On easy and medium. On hard, it's not fun. It goes way too fast for you to be able to react properly. But yeah, once you've defeated him, you actually go into the Technodrome, and this sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks on easy, it sucks on medium, and it sucks on hard. At the start of the inside of the Technodrome, there are these cameras that shoot balls at you. I've been playing this game since 1992, and I still haven't figured out how to dodge them. I like always get hit by them. So yeah, you have to avoid foot soldiers trying to slide at you while those cameras are shooting at you, and I cannot find the pattern. I don't know why. Uh, but anyways, you're crossing the Technodrome. There's a lot of traps here, like lasers shooting at you, those cameras shooting at you. There's guys with bazookas trying to shoot at you. It gets pretty rough, especially on hard. Like you will lose a life or two here for sure. After you've crossed the first section of this part, you come across another elevator fight, the same one as you had in the construction site, pretty much. The exact same pattern. Um, you get out of there. I think you have to fight a few Mausers here
You got
with
Mausers, and then you
in
have
some kind of platforming section.
yeah, you got
Um,
Mausers, and you have those prodding robots, like
yeah,
I can't remember the
yeah,
name of them.
the roadkill Rodneys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and those are the only enemies in the game that take two hits, just
yeah,
like in every other Turtle game. And this time, unlike in the first Turtles game, your jump kick does not do double damage. So you do have to hit them twice in these games, but they're super easy to avoid, anyways. But then you reach another elevator, and you're like, "Oh God, come on, this again for the third time!" But surprise, it's actually Super Shredder.
yeah. Well, I mean, like prior to Shredder, it's like a little maze to get through it. So like you have to like climb through the stage, and as you're climbing through, the goddamn
Mm-hmm.
mousers are coming out of the woodworks. Oh, it's awful. But yeah, Shredder, Super Shredder, Super Duper Shredder. So, this time Shredder's got some new moves because he has a Z-axis to work with. Um, it's similar-ish to the first fight, but with some additionals. He can jump around, so he's gonna flash into the four corners of the platform, and then when he stops, he's going to walk right towards you and keep slashing at you, basically until you get to the other corner that he's slashing at you at, and then he's gonna start flashing around the platform again. Um, do expect to take some damage on this fight because like it looks like the sword wouldn't hit you, but sometimes it does. Game Boy hitboxes basically play a pretty big
Mm-hmm.
role in this. Um, Otherwise, it's not a hard fight. It's just one of those fights you kind of have to like understand your hitbox on. Once you figure out like how the hitboxes like are actually like determined, then chances of you getting hit are pretty low at that point. But
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty easy fight, even on hard mode. It's a pretty easy fight, to be honest.
then you go back to some side-scrolling beat 'em up action right after you take out Shredder on the elevator.
Yeah, with some very, very nice music. No, wait, no, I'm wrong. Like, the best song in the game actually plays right in front of Super Shredder, but it's that section where you have to climb and it takes like 30 seconds to get through, so you're not
Oh
really gonna
yeah,
hear much of.
yeah.
But this is also a good song. It actually really keeps the blood pumping for you to face off against the final boss of this game. And it also has this really, I really think it was a clever way of doing this. Like you see some flashes in the background while you're walking across the railing or whatever,
Yeah.
and then it actually is people shooting with machine guns or just a machine gun, an automated one. So you can see the flashes in the background, and then they will hit the floor. And I think that was a really pretty cool way showing that on a Game Boy
Yeah.
to do that. But yeah, you have to dodge that a few times. It's really easy to do so. And by the end, you find a door and you go in, and there's the big guy. There's Krang in his actual. I think they just call him Super Krang, right? When he's in
Yeah, I
the
think
big
he's a
robot.
super
Yeah,
Krang,
I think
yeah.
it's just Super Krang. But yeah, he's in his bodysuit, actually pretty high
It's a
guy.
huge
Like
sprite.
it's really big in this version.
Like from
Um,
floor to ceiling. Like he's
yeah,
huge.
which is really cool. But yeah, sadly, it's also the easiest fight in the entire
Easiest fight in
game
the game.
because he is slow as heck. Like it's not like in the other arcade games or in Shredder's Revenge. Like he is super super slow. And if you remember the fight from the first Turtles game on Game Boy, it's kind of similar, really. Like you just go in for a hit, you back up a little so he doesn't stomp you.
Yeah.
He jumps at you a few times, but it's all super easy to dodge. The only thing to keep in mind is that if he does stomp the ground, you get like stuck to the
Yeah.
floor for a little bit because you're stunned. But it's a really really simple fight to end the game
There
with.
there is like a god place to be in the fight too. So like when he's so after you kick Krang in the face, like you eventually start to inch left on the screen. If you hug the far most left wall and duck, he won't hit you ever. Um
Mm-hmm.
so there you go. If you get to the point where like you're super far left, just hug the left wall as tight as you can and duck, and you won't get kicked by him. And basically, rinse and repeat the fight. Kick Krang in the face, duck in the left corner, and you'll beat Krang, and then you'll beat the game.
And it's the exact same fight on hard mode. So there's
Oh
nothing different. Like
wow!
they didn't even up the game for hard mode. Maybe he jumps a little more, but besides that, it's literally the same fight on hard mode.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, those were all the stages that you get, or acts as they call them,
Yep.
um, in Turtles 2 back from the sewers. A few cool things that the game does. Like, in my opinion, they did up their game for the graphics since the last game. I know
Yeah.
some people disagree. Some people like the graphics of the first one more. They're also serviceable, except for the turtle sprites in the first one. Those are absolutely horrible. In this one, they are a lot better, a lot more detailed. The only thing is that they are stoic as heck. Like, they don't move for some reason. They're always like staring straight in front of them without little to no animation except for when you're attacking. If you stand still, they will turn towards the camera though with their face with a very creepy smile, which it's just fun details that this game has that are pretty cool. Also, the pausing in this game is really nice. Before each act in this game, you get like the splash screen from the cartoon, from the '90s cartoon, with Leo with his sword and the title next to it. In this case, just Act One, sadly. But the pause screen is also very cool. There they use the like the commercial break one from the cartoon where I think it's Michelangelo eating a slice of pizza. But it also has a very, very good song for the pause menu, and that's something you don't really get a lot on Game Boy games. Usually it's no music or just the music that
Yeah.
was playing in the stage. So yeah, this game has a lot of cool little details here and there, like Splinter throwing you a pizza out of the window in the first stage. It has a lot of voice clips in it as well, which is cool on Game Boy because you don't really get that a lot. But yeah, you got the Cowabunga, you got uh, April says something when you save her. All these little details that they put into this game, which makes it really, really cool. Um, Sadly, it does offer three of the worst stages in these games, like the cave parts and that flying section that makes absolutely no sense at all. It's just weird, but all in all, I think this is a really well-rounded game, and it offers an easy difficulty for everybody to enjoy, a normal difficulty for more experienced players, and then hard mode, which which will totally screw you over with the spawn rate of the mousers, but is a very fun challenge, and it's cool to see how they handled boss patterns differently, because that's also something you don't see on Game Boy very often, because usually it's just like, oh, you have less health or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah. But we also get grace of some really good cover art for both regions this time, or all, I guess all three, but America and
Mhm.
Europe usually share covers. So,
Yeah.
um, but all three regions this time get some killer covers. So the first, we'll go over the first one, the American European one, which if you're watching the thing live or on YouTube, you can see it. It's a little bit reminiscent of not so much the cartoon, but the comics.
Yeah, the original comics. Yeah.
Yeah, which is actually kind of interesting. Simply because, like, if you remember, if you're our age and remember the turtles from the '80s and early '90s, they weren't aggressive looking turtles at all. They were pretty friendly looking turtles for the most part. But the cover for Back from the Sewers is very much making them look very aggressive because the comics were, well, aggressive. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a really nice cover. At the top rightish corner, you get the Teenage Ninja Turtles logo that we all know and love with the Roman numeral 2 after the S, and then we have a kind of like an optical like oval with four pairs of eyes peering out of them because the turtles back from the sewers. And then the background is the sewers in which the turtles, all four turtles, are standing in. Michelangelo is the only one facing away from the camera, but you can tell it's him just because the color of the bandana. But all the turtles have their weapons out, and it looks like they're in the process of fighting something or about to fight something. So
Mm-hmm. I don't know who made the cover, but it actually could have been a drawing from like Kevin Eastman or Peter Laird,
yeah,
to be honest. Like, it's pretty close to the style, but colored in, of course, which they never did. But
right.
yeah, it looks very close to that original style at least, which is cool. Yeah, one thing we actually didn't talk about, this game has a cool intro as well, with like
It does.
the like this the logo in the sky, and then it like zooms down between the skyscrapers in New York until you hit the sewer
It's
cover,
it's
manhole cover.
it's like the Turtles one intro almost, like the movie
Yeah,
from the Turtles.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. Like I said, there's a lot of detail in this game that's gets overlooked most of the
yeah.
time. But
And then the Japanese cover for the Turtles 2, a bit different. This is the one I probably would have expected as a kid because it's a
mm-hmm,
bit more
mm-hmm.
it's a bit more cartoony. Um, front top right away, you have Teenage Ninja Turtles. You know the logo, but instead of being Roman numerals, you just have a golden 2 right underneath of it because that's just what it was called in Japan. And then kind of like in a V pattern, kind of like making your eye just keep going down. You have the four turtles on skateboards, smiling with actual like eyes, like they have their weapons drawn, but like they're kind of just messing around, having a good time, not taking life too serious. And behind them is a silhouetted skyline of New York City. So like I said, as a kid, I would have been more drawn to the Japanese cover than the American cover, mostly because like this is what I knew the turtles as. So, um,
Yeah. especially because all games are basically based on the 90s cartoon anyways.
Yeah,
So those were the ones everybody was more familiar with. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, both covers are very well done. They're both covers are very good. Um, you can definitely tell that. I know it's not a European thing; it's more of an American thing. But you can definitely tell like the American one because like the American, for some reason, American covers are depicted as more violent and everything else compared to like other regions. Avenging Spirit is the prime example of this.
Yeah.
Avenging Spirit in America has a mafia guy with a Tommy gun on the cover shooting for some unknown you encounter that sprite like 4 times in the game, but in Europe it's a ghost, which is exactly what Avenging Spirit is supposed to be. Um, so it's just a matter of like the region, right? So like the violence obviously sold more in the West than it did in Japan, so you gotta make things look tough. So, but yeah, like I said, as a kid, I would have went more for the Japanese cover than the American cover. As an adult, I probably still would go for the Japanese cover over the American cover. So, but I also didn't get into the comics until super late, though. So, like, I didn't get into the comics until I was well into like my late 20s and early 30s.
Right, right. All right.
I don't have any trivia. General
There is
reception,
no trivia,
yeah.
no.
General reception I found the game is most people liked it. Um, but that was about it. Most people liked it. It was nothing groundbreaking, nothing exciting. It was just most people enjoyed it.
Yeah, it is a very enjoyable game for sure. And that's all what it needs to be, really. Like,
Yeah.
can't expect anything more. Yeah,
All right.
that's about it when it comes to our overview of this Turtles game.
Yep.
So yeah, we're gonna take another quick break here with another song. I'm gonna get some water before I die here because Jesus is it humid. Yeah, when we get back, we'll go through our thoughts and history, some retro achievements, some speed run stuff, and then we'll wrap up the episode. So yeah, hang on to your turtle shells, and we will be right back. And in my case, literally. So be right back.
We're going back to the pause menus music. Hi, chat. Dude, my toe itches. So, like, if you see me doing like weird move, it's like my toe itches really bad. You know how it is like when you have like itch on your foot, and like no matter what you do, it can't go away. Oh, that's my life right now. Itchy toe. Hope y'all are enjoying the Turtles podcast. This is our second. Yeah, our second Turtles podcast. We did Turtles 1 with Man Over Mars last year. I think it was last year. We did Turtles 1 with Man Over Mars as our special guest. Then we did Turtles 2 this year. Maybe next year we'll do Turtles 3. Which is crazy because, like, I know Mo loves Turtles 3, but I'm not a huge fan of Turtles 3. So, that episode would be interesting to do. Fall Guys. But Turtles was I love the Turtles growing up. When Shredder's Revenge was coming out, I was skeptical about it because like I didn't know much about it because I don't really follow newer games that much. Like, I don't really follow new games that much anymore. But I knew Hero and Mo were pretty stoked about it, and I was just like, what Turtles is it? Like, which generation of Turtles is it? Is it the weird, creepy ones from Nickelodeon, or is it the angry-looking ones that are from like the new Saturday Morning, or is it the ones that we grew up with? And like, oh, it's the ones that we grew up with. I was like, oh. They're like, yeah, it's like an arcade game with like the same turtles that we had. And I was like, oh. And then I found out that like Wu-Tang Clan was like on the OST as well. They had the original voice actors. I was like, what?
Water get.
Welcome back with your water.
Ooh.
Alright, you ready?
Sure.
Alright. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, so Mo, I know you got some history with the game since you said you were playing it since 1992 earlier in the episode, so
Yeah, this was pretty much the moment I saw it in the store, I picked it up, especially because I already had the first one. So, and I constantly played that game. I think that and Kirby's Dream Land were like my most played games back then. So, I of course picked this up, or my parents picked this up, I guess, because I had no money when I was 5. For me, this is my favorite of the 3 Turtles games on Game Boy. Just because it was just a step up from the first one for me, and because I absolutely love the music in this game. And it was also the first time, because like I didn't have a Super Nintendo, or I didn't play like the Turtles in Time arcade game or anything like that. So it was the first time that I saw other characters besides just Bebop, Rocksteady, Baxter Stockman, Krang, and Shredder. So it was really cool that they had the Pizza Monster, Granitor, and Trock in here, because I hadn't seen them before in Turtles games, so that was really cool. Radical Rescue, a game we will be talking about somewhere in the future for sure, is indeed a more unique game and a more interesting one. But for me, this is the most fun of the 3 on Game Boy for sure. And yeah, like mentioned before, I always play this game on hard because I've played this game so many times now that I just like the extra challenge that it gives me, and the other boss patterns. So yeah, I don't know. Like if you want me to pick out of the 3 on Game Boy, I will always pick this one to play first, just because it's so fun. But usually I just do like a trilogy. Like I just play all 3 of them now. So yeah, for me, favorite Game Boy Turtles game, best soundtrack on Game Boy probably. So yeah, that's my thoughts and history with it.
I never my Game Boy growing up days were weird. It was basically like my parents would buy me games without me knowing or like asking. So like, that's how I ended up getting like Balloon Kid, right? Like I like as a young boy in 1991 or 1992, I would have never asked for Balloon Kid. Like, that was not I was not the target audience, but I love the game. I still do to this day. It's one of my favorite Game Boy games. But like Godzilla, like I never asked for a Godzilla game, but I was super into Godzilla as a kid, so like my parents would buy it. Right, so like they would never consult me like what games I wanted. They would just go like based off of like what they saw is like what they'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, we should get Tony a Game Boy game, and they would get me a game based off like what they saw. I would never ever ask for it. So oddly enough, like I never got. I only ever got Turtles 1 for a Game Boy game. I never got 2 or 3, which is crazy
Mhm.
because like I like Turtles was like my gospel. Like that was my Bible growing up basically. I Turtles everything. Turtle bed sheets, turtle pajamas, like always watching the turtles. Like I lived and breathed turtles in the 80s and 90s, but I never had 2 or 3 growing up, so I never played the game until recently for this podcast episode, actually. So it was actually kind of a nice little surprise because I played 1 and 3 already. I never played 2. Um, it's a fun game, but I think what makes the game the best is the actual music. I think the music in the game was its biggest saving grace. Mostly because like the last half of the game, I just felt like the game kind of fell off in terms of atmosphere and just like
Mhm.
work in general. Like you have like Bebop, Rocksteady, Baxter, like those fights, like although easy, had a bit of like a mechanic to it, that gave it some sort of like difficulty. But then you face off against Krang, and it's just like, oh, he does literally nothing. Okay, so it's just like it kind of like after a while, kind of just like it felt like it just fell off, and they just needed to get it out the door. Which is
Mhm.
might be the
Mhm.
case. They might have been running out of time, because that's how it was back then. Um, but I thought it was a nice game to build off of the first game for sure. I like the first Turtles, but I like Turtles 2 a lot more than Turtles 1. And I'm not a big fan of Turtles 3, so Turtles 2 definitely is probably my favorite of the 3. But like the game came out in 91/92. Like there were some big titles that came out during those years. Like you had like Konami, for example, had Contra come out that year. Like Contra on Game Boy is not a simple game. Like Contra on Game Boy, it's a pretty complex game. Kirby's Dream Land came out, which came with the double difficulties. Super Mario Land 2 came out, and as much as I love that damn game, that game was very innovative and it pushed Game Boy quite a bit with its sound chip and just graphic and levels. Like it was a big game for a Game Boy. So it's like you see Turtles 2 come out, and then like literally like months after you see Contra, Kirby, and Super Mario Land 2 come out. You're just like, why couldn't Konami do this earlier? Like come on. So like comparing like the apples to apples with that, the game I felt like could have been pushed a bit more, but again, the team that did it could have been under some time constraint, hence why it kind of fell off towards the end. But overall, I enjoyed the game. I'll always enjoy a Turtles game for the most part. Um, it's just I think it could have been better, but it is my
Mhm.
favorite.
Mhm.
It is my favorite of the 3. The soundtrack is phenomenal. Soundtrack was, in my opinion, the soundtrack in like the fun little like I'll call them Easter eggs, like you pointed out before, like the pause menus and like the sewer dropping thing. Like the soundtrack and the Easter eggs, I thought were really like the soundtrack phenomenal, but the Easter eggs were a nice touch to really tie in a lot of like the turtle arcs from like the comics or like the cartoons and whatever else, like
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
into a game. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of fan service for sure in this one. All right, let's move on to the retro achievements. If you can't wait for the Kawabunga collection, uh, which will have achievements, but I assume there will. If I look at the other Konami collections like Contra and Castlevania, they will probably just be beat the game. So if you want some more achievements, this
True.
game does have some retro achievements. It's a pretty simple list, so it's nothing too crazy. It's finish the game on normal, finish the game on hard, play as all turtles. get all the bonus pizzas in the bonus game, some easy and hard or normal and hard difficulty, because the stages are a little bit different for when it comes to the bonus stages as well. Get some points, blah blah blah, and then there's some challenge trophies like defeat a boss without getting hit. Those are not on hard mode, so no worries about that. So it's a pretty simple list that you can easily knock out in like an hour or three. So if you're interested in getting some achievements, do it with the retro achievements. It's a fun list. I don't always I'm not always able to say that when it comes to the Game Boy achievements on retro achievements, but yeah, this is a very very well done list. So
I haven't
there you
done
go.
I haven't done retro achievement stuff in a while. Like the last game I did was Trip World, which has like five trophies to
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
I like a little bit of a taste. Like I think the retro achievement thing is like a really cool thing that someone came up with that really like helps people get into retro gaming.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
it's using emulators and other stuff like that, sure, but like to get someone into like retro gaming, especially like newer generation people, like it's tough because everyone wants to flash that e-ping off a little bit with their trophies or their gamer scores or like oh like what else is there to the game? It says you hold right and go to the end. So like I think retro achievements, like whoever thought of them and whoever built it out and made a system for it, like kudos to you. Like you definitely are pushing some of the retro gaming to the newer generation and keeping us older generation a lot more active into it too as well. So I think it's a super cool thing. If you never checked out Retro Achievements, I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
Speedrun section. I don't know how the speedrun of this game works, but I can give you some leaderboard stuff. You play the game fast. I know that. Uh,
Yes. But it's not a game where you can actually really go fast in. So
yeah.
yeah.
Get speedrun auto scrollers. Remember that. So there are 3 categories in the game in the speedrunning leaderboard. Easy any percent is held by Hammond Halil. Hammond Halil, yeah. 28 minutes 51 seconds 6 months ago. So it's a bit of a lengthy speedrun for Game Boy. Normal any percent is from Sasha Gaming, 30 minutes 22 seconds 1 year ago. And Mo, this one's for you. Hard any percent. There are no runs.
I do not want to speed run it either because I do die a lot on hard as well. So
There are no runs for hard any percent Turtles 2. So if you're looking for a free world record, go ahead and post your Let's Play and
yeah,
get your name on the leaderboard. Don't post a Let's Play on a speedrunning leaderboard. Please don't do that. I may not speedrun very much anymore, but I still moderate speedruns. Please don't post Let's Plays as a speedrun. It's not. Just
yeah.
don't. Please don't. As a moderator, please don't. I will reject it so fast. But then you get the what is a speedrun? It's like shut up. Don't give me that. um, we can skip the break song for this one. Let's go right into community events. We got a decent amount popping off. We'll start with Retro Gaming Live TV since we are here on the Retro Gaming Live TV channel. No big marathons to announce yet, but we got some shows that y'all should check out for sure. We got Rando Mondays that happen at 7 p.m. Eastern time, where a few people from the RGL staff and the community go through and play some randomizers on Monday nights. Kind of a fun time to watch. You got Golf Club with Kat and Vonnie on Wednesday nights. I think around 10 p.m. Eastern. I couldn't find an exact time in the Discord for that. But a bunch of people are welcome. If you're in the Discord, you can join in on the Golf Club and play with Kat and Vonnie and a few other people in the community as well too. And go for that low score. Go for that under par on whatever golf game they decided to play. I think they just recently did NES Open on the NES. So It's a good time there. And then we have Saturday Waffles. Kind of a limbo right now because people's schedules are a little bit weird because, well, it's summertime. People have vacations. People might be sick, etc., etc. But typically, Saturday Waffles are on Saturdays at starting around 1 p.m. Eastern Time, ending around midnight Eastern Time, depending on who's closing out the program. If it's me closing, it's about 4 a.m. Eastern Time. So I usually go all night if I'm closing the segment. Um, Barbie speedruns. That's right. There is a Barbie speedrunning community out there. And there is a Barbie speedrunning marathon happening July 30th to July 31st, where the Barbie community is speedrunning all of the Barbie games, including handheld and grounded consoles over the weekend. So definitely check that out on the Barbie Speedruns Twitch channel. We'll go in date order here because I didn't put that in the notes. Fastest First is doing a marathon from July 23rd to July 24th that is benefiting the Midwest Access Coalition. If you haven't heard the news in America, the Roe vs. Wade thing got overturned, and abortion is a hot topic right now. So the Midwest Access Coalition is a organization that helps women travel safely to get things done that they need to get done. ESA is happening July 23rd to July 30th. This is an in-person event at Malmo, Sweden. So if you're going to ESA, be safe, take care, take some precautions, and have fun. They will be supporting Save the Children. I think they always support Save the Children every year. So Midwest Speed Fest, August 26th through August 28th. This is also an in-person event at 2D Con in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Again, if you're going to this, be safe, take some precaution, and have fun. I forgot the charity event that they support because I couldn't find it quickly. But that's it for stuff coming up in the next month or so. So keep an eye out on that. Obviously, keep an eye out for things because Mo and I need to dig through some Tiny 10 stuff here pretty soon. Because Tiny 10 number 13, 14?
13, I believe.
I think it's 13. Tiny 10 13 is quickly approaching, so keep your eyes out on that, and we'll have more news and reveals and stuff like that later, obviously. The Best of NES thing is happening as well, too. I don't know much of that information because I'm not really a part of that whole community anymore, but I do know the Best of NES is happening again, where they're voting for the games to go into the race. So that's about all I know. That's about all I know about that. So if you're into the Best of NES and you're into NES speedrunning, go check Twitter about it and see what's going on with that. Do we have any questions?
We do not have any questions in our Discord, but for people who are still watching, we'll wait a little bit. If you have any question about the game or the podcast in general, please post them in chat and we will answer them. And otherwise, we will just move on.
Why is Raphael the best turtle?
I can't agree with that. So
how can you not agree? Okay,
it is Donatello. There's no other. There's just no other answer.
How is Donatello the best?
He is the best. He does machines.
Here's the order. Here's the correct order of turtles. It goes Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, and that's it. Leo doesn't even make the list.
Oh boy.
Leonardo doesn't even make the list.
Poor guy.
I've never liked Leonardo. Never liked him. I don't even like playing as him in games.
Oh no.
His special attack is so useless in Shredder's Revenge. Like, it's good for like the 0.5 seconds that it's active for. What a useless character.
All the Leonardo fans are gone now.
But the Raphael fans.
Right. All right. I guess we can just move on. As we're not, and if one comes in, we'll answer it later. No problem.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess it's time for our very well set up outro, like always.
The
Hot
most
damn, are we good
scripted,
at this?
the most
Yeah.
scripted outro in podcast history. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So if you all have any thoughts and suggestions about the podcast, let us know. You can either comment on the podcast episodes themselves. We typically check SoundCloud for comments, but I do peruse here and there and check the Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and stuff like that. You can DM us on Discord. You can just throw right into the This Is Game Boy Discord channel server that we got. We can converse there. You can hook us up, or hook us. I mean, you can yell at us in our Twitch channels. Like, there's a bunch of ways you can tweet at us. We have a lot of open avenues where you can get a hold of us and tell us how great we're doing as a podcast.
Indeed.
But we're always open to suggestions. We want to make this podcast the best that it can be. Over the 4 years, boy, this podcast has grown significantly. So, grown significantly, and I'm going to say matured because we finally got into a groove. But like the maturity level of the two hosts, eh. So,
Yeah, no, that's something different.
The podcast itself has matured, but the hosts, no, not so much.
We just get older. We go mature.
Yeah, our bodies get older, but that's about it. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear about it. We always want to make the podcast better and a more encompassing listen. If you're traveling or just chilling or watching these now live, so and you can find me, eBloodyCandy, on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah. Where can I find you, Mo?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all /Moelle, which is
Cool.
spelled Moelleuh.
Glad we had to really think about where we're at on social media.
Yeah.
And you can find our awesome, wonderful producer, SprintingLegs on Twitch and Twitter, Legs on YouTube, and definitely check out her project website, www.sprintinglegs.com, where you can see all the stuff that she's working on behind the scenes. You can get some time conversion going for Super Game Boy 1 to whatever you need to convert it to. And it's also where the Game Boy manual database is being held as well. So if you want to see if we have a Game Boy manual there, chances are we may have it. Chances are it's probably in Legs' queue and she hasn't hit accept yet. Still waiting for my Wizardry 3 manual to be accepted. My 52-page manual that I scanned explicitly for her. Still waiting for that one to be approved. But let's see here. What else we got a Patreon. We got the Patreon where we have a certain amount of tiers. We still need to rethink the whole monthly thing because the monthly thing used to be if we hit so much we're gonna live stream. Well, now we're partnered with RGL and well we live stream the big episodes. So we're trying to figure all that stuff out still, but in the cool tiering things, if you are a patron to the Patreon, so weird to say that. You get exclusive premiere access to Haunt Hunters, which is a horror let's play series that Mo and I do on the YouTubes. This time around, you have Fishing Vacation, which is a Game Boy inspired horror game. Kind of a lot of fun. That'll be coming out to the public here in probably the next couple week or two.
Mm-hmm.
You get some codes you get some discount codes in the store. You get access to behind the scenes stuff, notes, bloopers, all sorts of shenanigans that kind of happens off camera, off mic. So,
Yeah, well, now that we're doing these live, if you watch it live, you've already seen them, of course,
well,
except for the light ones, because we're not doing those. But yeah,
I get to see some of the shenanigans, I guess.
yeah,
But if Patreon's not your thing, because subscription services is literally just everything in this world, and some people forget you have subscription services, like me, for example. We have PayPal. If you do donate to us through PayPal, please let one of us know. We want to thank you in some fashion for supporting the podcast. If money is not your thing, well, money is everyone's thing, but if money is tight and you just don't want to spend money, because I get it, listening to the podcast, watching the podcast, subscribing to the podcast, reviewing the podcast, rating the podcast, all that stuff that you can do on a website like SoundCloud, Apple TV, YouTube, or Apple Podcast, YouTube, Stitcher, all that greatly impacts the podcast in so many positive ways. It ranks us up on lists, it gets us more well known in Google searches, and it just makes our heart melt when someone listens to us talk about a 30-plus-year-old video game. So
yeah. You could also choose to like blast us through your company speakers
true.
throughout the day, and then people are gonna be like, "What the hell is this crap?" And then
This
you say what this crap is, and then people are gonna listen to it anyways.
this is what you do. You go to your favorite streamer's channel, and if they're doing like the music thing where like you can request music type deal, you can actually just go to youtube.com, type in "This is Game Boy Podcast" and find your favorite episode. I highly recommend True Lies or Amazing Penguin. You can copy that and then request that URL, and then that way, when it's your turn to get your music onto the stream, it just plays that "This is Game Boy" episode, and the thousands of people watching that streamer can now listen to the podcast episode. It's an easy win-win for us all. So,
Please do not actually do that.
I did that to a friend once.
It is royalty. It is royalty free,
Yeah.
so technically they would get in trouble. But
We're not going to DMCA you.
yeah, they might DMCA us or something like that. But yeah, please do not do that.
I did it to a friend once. He was like, "I got a request going." I'm like, oh, "This is Game Boy Podcast," and just threw an episode up on his stream. Yeah, don't actually do that to streamers. You can get a decent amount of trouble doing that. Yeah, don't actually do that.
If people are asking on Twitter or whatever, do you know a good podcast?
Well,
Mention
yeah,
us.
yeah.
That's a good way to do it. But...
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I guess we gotta keep selling out. We have a merch store as well too. Merch.thisisgameboy.com. We have our limited edition shirt out right now to celebrate our 4th year of doing this podcast. 4 years. 4th year of doing this podcast. So if you didn't snatch it last year, make sure you can snatch it this year. I have mine's on the couch right now. But I have mine. I've watched it definitely a bajillion times, and the screen print hasn't worn off on it. So, nice shirt. Mine's kind of heavy duty. It's pretty nice. It's a nice shirt. It's a very nice shirt.
Yeah.
And we have coffee cups too. Although Mo said we would never sell coffee cups, I proved him wrong. And you can find all of that information on thisisgameboy.com, and with a little widget to the most previous episode of the podcast, and a little
if it works
when it wants to work, because the SoundCloud API is great. It's great. So when it wants to work, you can listen to the previous episode on the website itself. And there's also little blurbs and bios and links for the three of us involved with the podcast as well.
Yeah. All right. I think that about wraps it all up.
The well-scripted outro.
Yeah, I am still in the process of making a new shirt. But like I just started my new job. I'm still trying to figure out my free time after I come home from work. So, and I don't want to like work when I come home from work. So yeah, I'm still figuring that out. But a new one will, let's just say September. Let's just say that I'm pretty sure I can do it before then. And yeah.
Welcome to my life, not wanting to work after work, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell you what.
But yeah, it's my first week, so like I'm still not used to getting up at 6:30 in the morning either.
Oh,
so
God,
I'm like,
no.
yeah. But yeah, again, like some cool thing before we go, like the previous episode that came out like yesterday. Your light on Ruby and Rusty Save the Crows. So like this doesn't happen very often. But it's cool when it does. But the creator of the game actually like commented a lot on the SoundCloud episode, so you can read his comments, and they're like little tidbits of extra information about the game and things like that. So that's really cool. So if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, make sure to like open up the episode in the separate window instead of just playing it on the front page, and then you can read the extra things that come with that he posted, which is really cool. So.
The Ruby and Rusty stuff was kind of crazy how it all happened too. Like it was so weird how all of that just kind of like transpired.
Mm-hmm,
you know, it was like he reached out to Gygas, and Gygas like, I'm too busy. And then he tags me, and then all of a sudden like Max and I are like in communications. Like we knew of each other but didn't know each other, and then all of a sudden like I do a playthrough of the game. He gets, spotlit on Nintendo Life with my video, and then also like it just happened to line up that like I didn't get the machine yet, because like the machine was supposed to be the light episode, but I didn't get my copy of the machine yet. I was like, well, shit, I'll do Ruby and Rusty because like there's a lot of spotlight on that game right now. And then, Max got a hold of that. Like, there's been so much communication between Max and I on Ruby and Rusty. It's actually been super cool. Like, I'm really looking forward to Wink when that gets done, because that game is huge, and from what I've played of the betas so far, it's super fun. All right, what are we gonna play next?
Well, this time it's your choice because I chose Turtles.
So
you can pick a game. For me, like I said at the start of the episode, next light will be Paperboy. Oh boy.
Paperboy. Yeah, I'm glad that's not a big episode.
It does not even deserve an episode to be technical, but I'm gonna do it anyways.
I like Paperboy, just not the Game Boy ones. I thought the Game Boy ones were just trash.
They sure are.
Which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
What genre haven't we done in a while?
That is always a good question.
Like, there should definitely be a light episode of Miner 2049er. I don't. Sure. It doesn't deserve a big episode in my opinion, but there's a lot of lore to that game that I think a light episode would suffice that. Have we done Solomon's Club?
I don't think so.
It would be cool to do like a puzzle game for a change.
We have talked. No, we have. Yeah.
Have we? Okay. I feel like we've done something with Solomon's Club.
Yeah.
We're not doing Frogger. That game sucks ass. We could do. There's a new Ghostbusters movie coming.
Again?
Yeah, they're doing the sequel to the chick
Afterlife. One. No, what? No.
I'm pretty sure.
No. Like Afterlife came out, that was good.
Yeah,
Well, it
Afterlife
was good.
was fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is a
Uh,
sequel to Afterlife.
okay, thank God.
Okay. I
Thank God.
thought it was the chick one.
Like again, no, I love Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones and who else was in it? What's her name? Kirsten Wiig and is it Kirsten Wiig? Yeah, yeah. I love these actresses, but that movie was just don't get me started on it.
I mean, we could do Ghostbusters 2, which is actually kind of a unique game.
That
Um,
is a fun game. Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to do wacky. Wacky Sports will be a light episode. I eventually want to do Batman, but I need to be like rested to do Batman. We're never doing Super Hunchback. Have you played Super Hunchback? Yeah,
Nope.
don't. It sucks. Worst goddamn game I've ever played in my life. Um, God, what a shit game. Um, let's do Ghostbusters 2. I think that would be an
All right.
interesting episode. It's
Good,
a,
good, good.
it's an
It's a fun
interesting
game.
game. It's an interesting game. So it's not your typical actiony platformer game. So Ghostbusters. We're not doing the puzzle one though. The one that you can soft lock on,
No,
and
no.
that game is AIDS. So we're not doing that one.
Yeah.
I never finished that game. I got halfway through it and stopped because I got so bored with it. All right. So yeah, the next time you hear from Mo and I together, we'll be talking about Ghostbusters 2 on the Game Boy. So
Neat. Why are you king?
what?
Why are you king?
Why am I king?
No, why are you king? That is a quote from Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, I was like, well, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Why are you king?
So yeah, in the meantime, get your proton packs charged and get them ready to rock and roll. Until next time,
See you all
ta-ta.
later.
All right, I stopped streaming. I'm gonna stop recording.